Welcome to SOVL. SOVL is a strategy fantasy battle game which pitches two fantastical armies against one another. As you saw from the title and thumbnail, we'll be playing through as the Goatmen Raiders this time. Specifically, because in the previous runs we've done a lot of mages and archers and stuff, we're going to go in the exact opposite direction and go with the Minotaur Lord. Just pure, raw might in close combat. That should be quite fun. So in terms of the game itself, it's relatively straightforward. In the early outset of the campaign, I'll explain a lot of the base mechanics and my decision making, and then as we kind of get further into the campaign, it'll become a little bit more high level. I won't re-explain things. So beginner friendly. If you've never seen the game before, it's a good place to start. And if you already know those things, then they'll drop off very quickly as we go on. So something for everyone there. Okay, so here we come to the most important choice for the entire game: your starting units. Now we know the Minotaur Lord we selected comes with a unit of Minotaurs, amazingly. So you can kind of pick. So we've got heavy infantry. Of those, I don't particularly like Mongol skirmishers. They've got some nice abilities where they can scout and things, but their damage output is so low. So standard unit of warriors, they're kind of your basic infantry. And chariots, I don't typically like chariots, but you get two of them, and I'm willing to give them a go. So let's give it a try. And the second choice, I think thematically, I'm going to go with the second unit of Minotaurs. Maybe not tactically the best decision, but it is quite a lot of fun, so that's what we'll play with. Here's our kind of battle map. So the objective is we'll make our way left to right through these different stopping points until we eventually get to the boss. There'll then be an Act 2, which we do it again, but it'll be harder. So we'll quickly go over the little stops. So battles are standard fights where we come up against an enemy force. You win, you're rewarded gold, and you can either take healing or XP on your units. You can take extra, so you'll see at the end of the fight. So the objective is to try and get through while sustaining minimal casualties, so you don't have to waste your time healing things. You can just amass a load of gold. Random events are a bit difficult to explain. They're all over the place in terms of what you could potentially get out of them. They could be great, or they could be a complete waste of time. We'll see them as we kind of come up against them. The armories are effectively the equivalent of shops, so that's where you buy new units and improve the ones you already have. Elite battles are akin to the regular ones, except they're harder, but generate more gold as a reward. Then campsites are what you would effectively want to go to if your army took an absolute kicking and you needed to recover. So you don't get any gold, unlike when you're in a battle, but instead you can get a double round of healing or XP instead, so good replenishment stop. Typically you want to avoid them if you're doing well, because you'd rather just take a fighting place. So we probably want to avoid that. We kind of want to come up here instead. Have a look at our paths. I'm going to prioritise fights over the random events. The justification being is that they're more guaranteed value, whereas the random events, you could get very lucky and get something exceptional or not. We will have the opportunity to see some of them anyway, so we're not starved for choice, so I like this option when we go through 3 battles here. We can see our army view here. So you have the double chariots. So they're very swingy. We'll go through what they do, but they're kind of inconsistent. But we get 2 of them, which is great for sequencing battles, which I'll explain in a moment. Mordak Ironhide here, and there's a accompanying unit of Gorehoof Minotaurs, and then the Bloodhide Minotaurs as well. There you go. So what you can do over the course of the campaign is it's possible to rename units. So if you take a fancy to a particular unit, including the Lord itself, then you can suggest down in the comment section anything you want these to be called. The generic kind of fantasy names here are fine, but I think we can do a bit better. We'll just go into the first battle. Against Goatmen Raiders. Okay, so we will be dealing with enemy ranged output. So I'm going to put the fast moving units on the flank. The extra benefit of the chariots is that, so most units are stuck to their initial deployment zone, such as this. It can't get any further, but because the chariots have I believe it's the ambusher ability on the left hand side there, allows them to deploy any on our half, so as long as it's in the first table half. So if we know there's enemy range stuff coming, which we know there is, we could just do this and make sure we catch them. Can't get up here. You want to avoid so we get difficult terrain. So it provides cover, but in exchange it halves your movement when you're trying to get through there, so try and avoid that if you can. So we'll try and flank our way around. And then here's going to be a bit trickier. I'll probably put the stronger unit with the Lord in the centre, and then maybe you on the side. Okay, they're all over here. Great. We have to start with them to swing around, but that's okay. So he's going to get a volley off of this. We can't physically stop it. If I was just a little bit further back, I might have actually been able to get away with it. Unfortunate. So we're going to do. We're going to wait to move though, because ranged attacks have both a long and short range. So if we force them to fire at least long range, it reduces the amount of damage coming our way. So we'll start flanking around here. Same deal here. We'll move this Minotaur unit around. They are faster than the Goblin mobs, so we should be able to outposition them. They're going to get a volley off on us. They haven't got great accuracy and we've got decent defense. I'll go over what the rolls mean later. So we take 1 wound, which is okay. So up we go. So the reason I'm doing this is that it puts us into the side arc of the enemy unit. So if you hover over an enemy, you can see this, but it gets a front arc, 2 flanks, and a rear at the back. So when you charge, if the majority of your unit is within one of these arcs, that's the facing that you'll charge into. So you want to charge into the side if you can. Justification being that the enemy don't get to fight back with their full attacks, and they only get the 2 guys in base contact with you. So it massively helps in terms of the amount of damage you'll be sustaining. That's taken care of. You'll take care of that one. And what I'll do is I'll have this unit race up here, with the justification being that I want them to eventually flank that unit. So they'll deal with this, they'll deal with this. You can come over and support when we need. That's fine. So by holding the X and C keys, we can see both my movement and charge range and the enemy movement and charge range. So as long as you're outside of theirs, you'll be okay. So I can see them clearly in charge range. The majority, in fact, the entirety of my unit's in the side arc. So it's a side charge. Great. Confirm. Nothing else can reach for this. Yes, we could do a front there, but why would you voluntarily take a front charge when you could orchestrate a side one a turn later? Okay, they're coming back for me this way. That's sensible. What I'll do is I'm going to put this unit up here. I'm hopeful to get you into such a position that I can, in theory, either... So if this doesn't go well, I can send them into the side there. Okay, you need to think about, actually, maybe I can't do that. The worry is that this unit, if it survives, will turn and face, so it won't be sticking out nearly that far. They'll end up crushing into the side, so I need to kind of get further up here in an attempt to make sure I don't think I'm going to be able to make... Even if I did, I wouldn't be able to catch them anyway, so I might as well just go with my first approach of positioning myself such that, yes, I could charge them, or maybe get a flank on one of these, like so. Okay, they've made that very easy for me. I can just do this. Yep, that's a free flank charge there. And here's slightly harder. I could already flank them with that one, in theory. I would like to try and get this. The good thing about the Minotaurs is that they have fantastic movement, much greater than the standard infantry. So we've got to here. I can clearly see them on the side, they can't see me. Fine. Okay, we'll go into our first combat, so I'll explain what's happening. So, right, units have stats here that you can see: skill, power, defense, attacks, wounds, and discipline. So, the first thing you do when you attack someone is you determine the hit roll. This is what or the attack rolls we're doing now. So to do that, it'll compare skill versus skill. We're both skill 3, so I have it will be 4 plus to hit. So on a roll of a dice, a 4, 5, or 6 is a success, a 1, 2, or 3 is a fail. So it represents they have equal skill, so a 4, 5, or 6 is effectively exactly 50-50 chance of landing a hit due to their equivalency combat prowess. So in terms of the number of attacks, it's determined down here. So we start with 4, but we have the crushing charge ability there, which adds 2 bonus power and 2 attacks when we charge. So that is to represent the chariots massively improve their damage output when they charge. It's intrinsic to their function. So we go from 4 to 6 attacks. So we do our hit roll. So we hit perfectly averagely. Okay, and then the enemy, I'm going to stop it now. The enemy gets to do 6. So what happened after that was, so we hit 3 times. After that, the enemy had an opportunity to roll a damage save. So to do that, it compares power versus defense. So in this case, we're power 7, because we're a base power of 4. We get 2 extra for the charge and crushing charge. We also get 1 extra from having a hand weapon. So it goes from 4 to 7, which is great. The enemy is only defense 2, so the way determining this roll would work, they were saving on 6 plus, you can see there. The reason for that being is that if the power is greater than the defense, then they save on 5, so only 5 or 6 is saved, so a third. If the power is 3 or more greater than the enemy defense, they save on 6s, so only a 6 is passed. So they rolled a 3, a 1, and a 5, they all fail, 3 guys died. That's great. So then they get hit, so they get to hit me back with just these 2 guys with 1 attack each, so 2 attacks. They have equal skill, so they hit on 4s, they get 1 hit, and then their power is only 3 to my defense 4. So my defense is better, so we're saving on a 3 plus, so a 3, 4, 5, or 6 is success, 1 and 2 fail. So we pass because 3 plus, that represents that you have a greater chance of succeeding given that the enemy has a woefully low defense relative to your power. Okay, so we managed to orchestrate all the charge I wanted. Yes, I could side charge there, but I'd rather put these guys into the flanks because they do a lot of damage. I'm going to wait to charge the short bows because we can see if they rally. So crucially, we're playing on this campaign will be difficulty 5, which grants the enemy the ability to try and rally. So they failed in this instance, but they could, in theory, when enemy units break, they could return to combat. So what we'll do here, we're just going to set this up such that In case any of these units hold on, we get some nice flanks going on, so you can go there. We'll have this one come around the woods. Get to there, so they can definitely reach both of these to lend a hand. I don't suspect they'll hold on, so our Lord here gets 5 attacks, which is great, but he also, because he has the Frenzy ability, he re-rolls hits. So he hits on 3 due to having superior skill, but then he misses, he then gets to try and roll again to convert to hit, so full house there. And then he's better strength to defense, but not by 3 or more, so it's 5s instead of 6s. 5 and 6 pass. The Minotaurs have the same ability, but again, they'll have a number of attacks, and then they'll re-roll the hits, so 3s, and then re-roll fails. 8 out of 8, fantastic. And then yeah, they just squash a whole load of them. They hit back, they hit twice. We have better defense, so we take no damage at all. So a complete rout. -4. So yeah, after you win a combat, the enemy has to take a break test, which is their discipline minus how much they lost by. They lost by so much that they'd have to roll -4 on 2 dice to hold, which probably isn't happening. These Minotaurs, same deal. Their attacks and reroll. So yeah, they squash a whole load of them. And then a hit back, dealing 1 wound. So that doesn't really bother us because they don't roll double 1. We have 3 wounds each. We're fine taking up to 2 wounds on each Minotaur because when we get to this screen, those wounds will disappear. You only lose wounds permanently if you actually lose a whole unit, so you don't have to worry about it. So at the end, you'll generate XP for winning the fight. You'll have an opportunity to heal model if you want to, or you can take gold instead. So we're at max, so we're just going to take gold. The starting unit that came with our Lord starts down a guy. I'm fine to take gold on that for now because it's honestly potent enough just to get away with what it's currently got. So we are where we are, going to the next fight. That's basically a perfect outcome. We sustained what is effectively no damage and generated as much gold as possible. Okay, Orc Scouts, so as I understand it, there'll be a unit of heavy cavalry and a unit of Orc warriors for us to deal with. So the heavy cavalry will likely be on one of these sides, so probably there. So what we want to do is we want to bait them with one unit and then flank charge them with another. If we had a choice, we would probably want to flank them with the Minotaur Lord, because he's actually the hardest hitting unit we have. So just in case he can't reach though, I'll have him over here as well so they can both wheel. And then I'm not going to use him as bait. It would be much better off using this unit as bait and a bit further back to force them to come as far forward as possible. They're over there, fine, same thing. So they're going to come forward and we'll just flank them. Before they come, it's going to be, we're going to have to jostle around for a bit to try and get around them. They'll come forward, which we don't particularly mind either. So what do you want to do? We'll probably have, well, we want at least, the chariots aren't great until they get a lot of upgrades, so we're just going to get by for now with getting these into the side. Now how do we want to handle this? Our objective of course is to get into this thing's side, so we'll probably get out of its charge range to start. There's no reason to get stuck in here. This wood here is going to be a real nuisance because it's going to slow my movement down a lot. I don't know if I can get away with it. Technically I can get away with that to try and weasel my way around him. It would be easier honestly if I just did this instead. I'm probably clipping it, which is costing me a lot of movement. No, I can't quite do that. I need to go even further. So there'll be a lot of this where you just try and wiggle your way out of the enemy's charge. God, it's really quite irritating. He's moved into a perfect position to mess me up. Okay, we'll take that. We'll try and get around him. So this unit we'll put here. The hope being that he kind of makes his way towards that one so they can get around. Someone will eventually be able to get around him. They've only got 2 units and I've got 4, so I've got a massive advantage on them when it comes to positioning. They won't be able to do much about me getting around them. So no charges yet. He inches forward, that's fine. So it depends how far I can get. I can get just far enough to escape, which is good. It means next turn I can probably get around to the side. It's good. They're going to just pointlessly move forward, which is kind of suicidal on their part, really. This one I can probably put all the way through here. Yeah, fully clear to the other end, good. And then you, I'm going to do exactly what I wanted, which is get you into the flank. Where would you come? Yes, there's a difficult terrain there, but it's not enough to stop me. And then you, I don't know, just start making your way this way. You'll eventually become useful against this. Charge there. The reason we're happy to do that is because they only get 3 attacks and we have 3 wounds each, so we'd have to get incredibly unlucky to end up losing a guy under those circumstances. So can I get up here catch you. Yes, I can. Is that a... No, it's a side charge rather than a rear one. Is there any way I can orchestrate a rear one if I go straight through the... No, these woods are slowing me down just enough to prevent me from being able to do that. So you'll take them inside. And to make it extra spicy, I'll probably put you over here to the flank as well. Oh, these blasted woods. Okay, so we can actually be a bit clever about this. Because we've successfully got a charge here, we don't actually have to bother escaping the entirety of their kind of charge radius. I just have to get my unit into the majority of their flank. So I can just do, well, I can manage it anyway, but even if I couldn't, I'll explain in a moment why that doesn't matter. We'll put you here in case they somehow manage to hold on so you can flank them. Okay, here we go. So 5 attacks, 3s, 5, 5 again. The rerolls makes them incredibly consistent, which is why they're so valuable. 8 of 8 max attacks. There you go. We couldn't do any better. Great, so they only hit twice, so I can't possibly lose one, so I'm fine. Yeah, you can't roll -3 on 2 dice, I'm afraid, so they're gonna back it in. My turn. Okay, so even if he declared a charge here, when you side charge an enemy unit, it would count as an interception. Now, I'm umming and ahhing over this because I might not put the chariot in. I can't possibly lose a Minotaur to their attacks back, but I could take damage to the chariot. It would be only 2, maybe only 1. I would heal 1 at the end. I think I'm fine. And then I guess I could just have you kill them. Just speed things up a bit. Very good. Yep, just nothing for the chariot to do, so just stand there. Cheer on your team. So yeah, we get 6 attacks, but equal skill. So yeah, it's until the chariots improve, they're very sweet because they could get 1 of 6 hits and do nothing, which is a bit unfortunate. So the Minotaurs have fantastic consistency, and we'll just spike the save, but we're okay. They do no damage. So the other benefit is when you get 2 flanks like this, when an enemy fails a discipline check, they don't run, they're destroyed, because that effectively means that they get surrounded on all sides and cut down to a man or an orc, if you will. And I suspect all of you will be dead. Yeah, not too precisely enough, but good enough. So we took 2 wounds on that Minotaur unit, but as we're about to see, they'll just disappear. We take no actual damage, so all gold again. We've also amassed enough XP to start leveling units, which is good, so we'll just take the golden net. So one of our chariots leveled. That's not a great selection of initial things, I'll be honest, so I'll just take the wounds. This was a bit more durable. This chariot leveled. Right, so again, replenishment, if you end up taking damage when you heal, you get more wounds back, but you want to play the game such a way you're not taking a huge amount of damage. And then discipline for the same reason isn't great, because you only roll discipline checks if you're losing combat, and you don't want to be losing combat, so we're going to take Demonic Gift, and random stat. So let's see what we get. Extra defense, fine, honestly, because they do pretty good damage anyway, so getting them from 4 to 5 is pretty good, because you come up against a lot of strength 4 stuff, so it just makes them a bit... Yeah, defense 4 on these chariots is a bit bad. It kind of helps them out a lot. And the Minotaur's also leveled. You take an extra guy, an extra skill. Getting them to skill 5 would be nice. I guess the reason being is that when you come up against anything that is skill 4, you get in 5, you get over them. But with the rerolls, you're not that fussed, so I'm actually going to go with unit size, because that gives me 4 extra attacks, which is probably... I mean, it depends what you come up against, but just the sheer amount of damage you can do is just better. So I'm going to heal them to get them to 4. To make that a diabolically potent unit now. So it's now 4 across. So yeah, they'll definitely get through anything I put them into the side of. Costs us a tiny bit of gold, but we should be fine. We'll do another fight here against the roaming brigands. There'll be a unit of archers tucked away at the back here, so we're going to want to get onto them pretty quickly with these. And then this will be much the same. We just kind of stomp our way up here, and eventually... it would probably be better... There'll be an infantry unit somewhere, so let's put you on the... to get round, and then you in the centre. So they're there. Okay, so I should be able to get onto them with something. They are annoyingly going to get a shot. I can't physically stop them. So there you go. We're fine. Okay, so I'm going to immediately start having you run up here. That we don't fuss about, so yeah, this will be the one that we flank around that unit when it inevitably gets stuck. I'm curious here, can I get far enough to get into the side of this? Okay, don't hit the terrain. I'd like to reach the side of this, so I have to avoid the woods as well. Is that the majority of their side? No, I'm afraid not. I need to deploy a bit further forward and a bit further up. So do you want to take the front charge, or are you willing to take another round of shooting to get a side charge? You would probably be better off just charging in. Or alternatively, just hide and have this unit take them in the side later. They'll turn and shoot them. but I think it's still better, so I'm actually going to do that. I'd rather not take them on the front, because the chariots can just do really poorly and get nothing for their efforts. Just going to tuck my way into here, so I can get around later. And then here, I don't know, you can just come forward and menace this. I'm actually going to go in, because why would you take a front charge when you don't have to? Stand there. Okay, we'll get one more volley off, but so be it. Charges none this turn. Forward he comes. Okay, so he's moved in such a way that he didn't actually get himself anything there, so... But he might have spared himself getting rear charged this turn. I can get far enough to reach him. And it's clearly in the rear, so that's pretty good. They've moved there, which is interesting, because I can probably just scooch around them. Oh, this blasted bit of terrain is actually going to ruin my plans. Right, let's try you first. Can you get far enough to reach their side? Yes, you can. Piece of cake. Get side up. They can't see me. I can see them. Great. So you just stand there and wait to see if they happen to hold, I guess. Or what we could do is we can put you into the flank. Yeah, why not? You just stand there. You're fine. Wait. So this is what I was meaning. So the enemy's declared a charge on me. Oh no, how terrible. But because I'm flanking them, it's intercept charge, which kills their charge. They're not allowed to execute it, which is pretty good. You go in, and in the rear. You're just going to sit there, because why would you give the enemy an opportunity to hit you? So I'm a bit concerned. I do hope that they can get over this and kill it in one turn. Just skip the phase. So 3s. Ah, missed one. Treble 6, okay. And the chariot does nicely. They hit me twice. Might take a wound here. One is fine because I heal 1 at the end of each fight anyway, so you've effectively taken 0. And then the Minotaurs, yeah, do a bunch of damage. Don't care if they get hit. -2, not possible. Unit wiped. Perfect. And then here, let's hope for a good hit roll. No, it's a below average one, unfortunate. Okay, so just 2. So 3 is 1 for the flank and 1 for behind, but they break. So all enemy units broken, nothing fighting. We win. That's 3 perfect fights in a row, which you'd kind of expect in the real benefit of having the chariots isn't what they do, it's that there's 2 of them. So you can out-sequence the enemy. So our Lord now leveled as well. Skill 5 is nice, because it means when you encounter a lot of skill 4 stuff, so being at 5 means you can just definitely get over it and always hit on 3s. Rerolling hitting on 3s means he hits like 88% of the time on all of his attacks, so that's pretty great. And then his accompanying unit of Minotaurs leveled. Right, skill versus... I'm not taking the wounds, because well, these are all pretty good, but I'm going to focus on damage output, because just killing the enemy is probably better than being able to soak a little bit more damage. When we've done all the fancy damage stuff, we can come back to that, but it's a choice between these 2. Which of those you would take is an interesting proposition. So, if you would take the skill, it would be useful specifically against skill 4 things, because you'd go up to 5 and you'd hit them on 3s. So you go from 50% hitting to 66%. Then you have to factor in that we're re-rolling everything. So a 50% chance re-rolling is actually 75% of your stuff hits, versus 3s re-rolling, which would be 88% hits. So you get a, 13% improvement to your hits. Whereas if you had 1 more attack each, that would be effectively 3 more attacks. I think the attacks would mathematically be more useful more often. It helps 2 more guys, so I'm going to go with that first, and we can come back to that later. I can't quite run the numbers in my head instantly, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate. So here, yeah, just gold everything. We're still perfectly viable as we are. And then I'm even willing to, yeah, I'll go into the shop. I'll show you. I won't tease you. I'll show what we can get here. So, another unit of Minotaur. I don't think I can resist. So yeah, I'm going to have to do it. So there's other upgrades we can get. So you get to buy new units, and you can improve the ones you already have. I'm just going to do this out of hand. I can't possibly say no. They come with heavy armor. I'll pick those up later. They're not something I desperately need this second. And then we get power. You can upgrade. I'll probably focus on upgrading the chariots because they need the most help of what we've got so far. So extra power for our Lord would be great, because the one thing they don't have, when you think about them, they have 2 hand weapons, which is why they have such a high number of attacks. The same with the Minotaurs themselves, but it means they don't have any extra power. They just sit at 5. Getting up to 6 by having played is fantastic, because then you get to 3 or more power against things that are defense 3. So it reduces their saves to all the way down to 2s. And then if you come against elites that are defense 5, they're reduced to 5 up. So it's pretty great. So I have 124 to work with. I would like that, which would cost me 50. reducing me to 74. What can I do with 74? I can only get one upgrade, scything wheels, and I can't get any armor plating because I would run out of... But scything wheels aren't necessarily priority because they're already, as we saw, power 7, which is outrageous. Like you don't need... Becoming power 8 is only useful against defense 5 things and up, so we're really not pressed for that right now. So these are a better use of our time. I think we're 1 gold off being able to buy both of them, which is truly tragic. Unfortunate. So we're just going to be able to get one. One of them, I think, is we've already had an extra defense, so you're already defense 5. So let's help out. We can either go all in on him and make him defense 6 and make him super durable and just have you catch up later, or spread it out. I'm going to go with the skewed version. I'm going to give the Thunderhoof Scavengers the extra armor because that gets them all the way up to... There you go. Oh, I miscalculated completely. I can do both. Never mind. I'm a complete fool. So there you go. Defense 6 now is a fantastic breakpoint because all the power 3 stuff thrown towards us is going to be saved on 2+. It works inversely where if your defense is 3 or more better than the enemy's power, then your save improves all the way to 2+. So you pass on anything except a 1, which is great. So there you go. They're now durable enough that I'm not worried about them dying instantly anymore. And we have just all the cows, bovine behemoths here, going to run their way through the opposition. And there you go, that will be the end of part 1. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If so, the run, of course, will continue. So like and subscribe to see it as it goes on. More SOVL content on the channel and other Warhammer sort of related stuff, as you've kind of maybe noticed throughout. If you have any notes on the run itself, what you'd like to see or what you think we could do better, then please, by all means, do drop a comment down in the comment section below. I take the time to read them all. If you just want to chat, that's fine too. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.